Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian Ant and welcome back to Elite Dangerous. The release of Chapter 4 brought along with it a number of significant changes to the game. These take a bit of getting used to, even if you are a regular player, and if you haven't played the game for a while, then you may just be wondering what the heck is going on. Here then are details on 5 changes to Elite Dangerous that you should understand in order to make your exploration life a bit easier. Elite Dangerous now has 2 different cockpit modes: Combat Mode, which allows you to use weapons and related modules, and Analysis Mode, which allows you to use scan-based modules. Now the message, "module cannot be used in this cockpit mode," is likely the first bump that many explorers will hit in Chapter 4. It's easy to fix though, but as usual the game doesn't explain what you need to do or why. So hidden away within the controller bindings menu is a mode switch option. Pull this out and you'll be able to set a key for switching between cockpit and analysis modes. If you're using custom keybinds, then this will not already be set for you. You're going to have to go ahead and do it yourself. If you have been using default keybinds all along though, then you are automatically good to go. The really strange thing about all this is that when you enter the new Discovery Scanner mode, the FSS, the game will automatically switch you into analysis mode. However, if you try and fire a surface probe, the game won't automatically switch modes, instead choosing to just nag you about it. So use your chosen keybind to switch modes and you'll be fine here. It's also worth keeping in mind that once you have scanned a planet, the body will have an overlay placed upon it. You can activate and deactivate this overlay by switching between cockpit modes, and yes, this even works when using the external camera. Very important then if you want overlay-free screenshots or footage. Love it or hate it, and personally I love it, the FSS scanner has a real issue when it comes to control imports. As with the mode switching, if you have custom keybinds, then the game will set 0 keybinds for the new exploration scanner. However, if you're using default keybindings, then you will be completely fine. Now I've included the default classic context controller keybinds right here, so it should help you out a bit, but otherwise, yeah, you should be okay. Now that leads me nicely into the second thing you should know about Chapter 4. It seems, to me at least, that the FSS was designed with consoles and gamepads in mind. That is to say, it works perfectly with a gamepad. Now whilst the FSS doesn't have any problems when using a HOTAS or mouse and keyboard, I found it to be just extremely clunky. Controlling the camera with a mouse feels unnatural, and controlling it with a joystick feels like overkill. And that's without mentioning zooming into stellar bodies or tuning in on the spectral analysis. Personally, I use a HOTAS to play Elite Dangerous, but despite this, I found it much better to use a gamepad to control the FSS, and more specifically, to use the default gamepad keybinds. Fortunately, Elite is more than happy to allow you to fly your ship with a joystick and throttle, whilst also allowing you to bind a gamepad such as an Xbox or PlayStation controller to any other options you want. For me then, it's full FSS control to the gamepads all the way. Just make sure you have your chosen controller plugged into the computer or switched on before you load Elite, otherwise the game will set your keybinds to something else entirely. Chapter 4 comes with an entire range of new scanners: the FSS, the planetary probes, the pulse wave scanner, and of course the composition scanner. Now the composition scanner is built into all ships, fighters and SRVs by default, so you don't need to worry about obtaining a new module for it. However, the game doesn't make it really clear that you need to use the composition scanner in order to gain a Codex entry for non-stellar body entries. For example, if you've discovered a geological surface feature or a strange alien lifeform in space, then you will need to scan that with the composition scanner. This then is actually very easy to do. You can find the composition scanner in your Fire Groups menu, bind it to a fire key, then approach the chosen object and activate the scanner. The game will then scan the object and, if necessary, add the object into the Codex as a reported and/or a confirmed entry. Oh, and just make sure you switch the analysis mode on, as the composition scanner doesn't work in combat mode. Now here's a confusing one. The detailed surface scanner is no longer the detailed surface scanner. Makes sense? Well, here's the breakdown. Prior to Chapter 4, the detailed surface scanner was a module you could fit to your ship. This module would then scan stellar bodies and provide detailed information on them. To get this information, you needed to fly over to a planet, moon or star, and then point your ship in the general direction. The detailed surface scanner would then take its time to do a passive scan of the planet. Well, that functionality has now been moved over to the FSS. The FSS, or Full Spectrum Scanner, is a system built into all ships. It replaces the old Discovery Scanner. However, the FSS now also does a detailed surface scan on all bodies. This means you no longer need to fly over to a planet or moon in order to get a detailed surface scan, but can do it from a distance, no matter how far that distance. Where does this leave the detailed surface scanner then? Because if you check in game, you will see that a module with that name still exists. Well, here's the thing. The detailed surface scanner is now a probe launcher. It's no longer used to gain detailed surface information on a stellar body, but is instead used to map a planet's surface by firing probes at it. In short, what this means is that it allows you to get a first mapped buy tag, assuming no one else already has it, and it also reveals to you all fixed points of interest on a planet or moon surface, assuming of course there are any. So the detailed surface scanner isn't a detailed surface scanner. Instead, it's used to get the details of the surface. Clear? Good. Oh, and make sure you're in analysis mode for this tool. The Codex is a great new way to check out discoveries that have been made throughout the galaxy. The confusing part is that the Codex isn't actually an encyclopedia of all discoveries made throughout the game. It also doesn't log all of your personal discoveries. What it does do, however, is show you the first reported discovery of any stellar bodies or object of interest. If you're the first to make a discovery in any of one of the 42 regions of the galaxy, then you will gain a Codex entry as reported by. If you're not the first to discover a said object, then you will instead gain a confirmed credit. Reported by credits are shared across the entire game. If you gain such an entry in the Codex, everyone will see it regardless of the platform they are playing on. After all, discoveries are shared. So that's the first point. Second point is that you don't need to sell this discovery data to a station in order to gain a Codex entry. Instead, the Codex is updated galaxy-wide for all players the moment you make the discovery. So there we have it then, clarifications on 5 issues in the game that may have been a little bit confusing for explorers. I know they certainly were for me. I hope that's helped some. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.